Hello and welcome to week 3 unit 4 extensibility deep dive. My name is Babulal Limba and I am the instructor for this unit. In this unit I will continue to talk about extensibility. In last unit we have learned how to add extensions on UI and make the standard UI flexible based on the business role. In this unit I will cover some advanced use cases that you can achieve using extensibility. The advanced feature that we are going to cover in this unit are as follows. Number 1, we will make the UI flexible dynamically based on the conditions and not based on the business role as we did in the last unit. We can make the UI flexible using conditions. For this, we need to have an indicator in our XBO file and the epsil logic to set or clear this indicator. Later, when you modify the standard screen using Extensibility Explorer, you can use this indicator attribute to set the properties of fields on the UI like the visibility property, read only property, etc. Secondly, I will cover the accessibility of the key user extensions in the add-on solutions and processing them. Sometimes key user extends the UI with some extensions and the business user enters the values manually into it. To fill the values automatically based on certain logic, we have the possibility to define a reference to customer specific field in Cloud Application Studio add-on. It provides the possibility to access the key user extensions in epsil file and code accordingly. This is an entity of type .ref file in the add-on. You can have only one file of type .ref in the add-on. Let us jump onto the demo part now. I will demonstrate. So, let me move on to the demo and I will show you in the system how to achieve the use cases we talked about. Coming to the user story of internal job search, we have hidden the price related information from the manager based on the business role. Now, we will hide the same using the conditions. We have total net value, for example, available on purchase order OIF, and this should also be hidden. Let us jump into the demo. Okay, so we are now in the system. Let us have a demonstration. So, this is the add-on where we will create the required things. So, select the XBO and we will add an element of type indicator. Let us call it show price. Whether the price has to be shown or not will be decided based on this indicator. Okay, I will then save my XBO. Once it is saved, I will go and activate it, and then once it is active I will be able to use this indicator on my UI. So, now it is active. Let us go jump into the purchase order OIF XUI component which we did in the last unit, and here once the screen is launched we will go to the section where we have the net value appearing on the UI and we will hide that based on the conditions. Take a bit of time. Okay, so now it loads and we will jump to the required section. So, it is down and let us scroll down. So, the section group is there and total net value we can see. I will select the section group and adjust the properties of the attributes in it. So, what I want to do is I want to control the visibility property of the total net value related fields and bind the property to the show price indicator. So, that is what I am doing for the 3 attributes on the UI. That is the visibility property I have bound, and that is it. So, now we activate the UI. So, once it is active, what we have done is basically it means that the total net value will be visible only if the show price indicator is set to true. If it is not set to true, it will not be shown there. So, let us wait for the activation to happen, and the activation has been done. So, once it is done, now we are ready to write the piece of logic for that. Let us write the logic for that. Now, on the purchase order XBO file, I will create a script file on the after modify event. In the after modify of my job ID, I can put a logic to find out. So, I will say if my job ID is initial then what I will do is I will put the value of show price as true. Else if it is not, then I will set it to false. So, that is it. Okay, we have some mistake here. Okay, so now activate this piece of code, which is the after modify event. Once it is activated, I would also activate my purchase order XBO as the red bubble appears over there. Okay, so now it is activated. Now let us test the system. Let us go and jump into the system and test it. I will edit a purchase order and open the purchase order OIF screen. Here I can see that the job ID is not filled and the total net value is appearing. And if I fill the job ID now, I can see the total net value has disappeared, and this is what we have done so far. Okay, so that is the use case 1. Now we will come to our second use case. Coming to our second use case of accessing the key user extension in add-on solution. Let us say a key user has created an extension field called for hired employees of type indicator on purchase order OIF to mark that the purchase order is for a newly hired employee. Business user sets this field manually while creating a purchase order. However, now they feel that this needs to be set automatically when the job ID is filled. Let us go into the system now and do it. So far I was using the system in a studio of role partner development. However, creation of key user extension is not allowed in byd8 system of role partner development. Hence, I will demo this feature in another system, another add-on which I have already created, where I have already created the required entities. The entity of type reference field, reference to customer field represented by .ref file is required for this. An add-on can have only one .ref file. So, let us go into the .ref file, and hence I cannot create more because there is only one allowed. You can see there is a business order, purchase order, and there is a field for hired employee which is existing, which is created by the key user. I have selected this to use it in my logic. Let us go to the logic where I can use this field and I say for hired employee. So, what I do is when the job ID is initial, then I say this attribute should be false because this is not the purchase order for the hired employees, otherwise it should be set to true. So, basically I am accessing the key user field in my logic. So, let us jump into the UI and see how did it work. Okay. So, edit the purchase order again. Now, we see that job ID is not filled and the for hired employees is not set. If we enter the job ID, you will see the for hired employee is now set. This is what automatically the indicator is being set, and this is what we wanted. The key user now do not have to set it manually from their side. So far we have learned and understood how the extensibility plays a key role in achieving different use cases in byd8. On this slide, I would like to highlight few key points that should be kept in mind while working on extensibility. All the activities that we did in our demo are not possible in a solution of type solution template. You can define an XBO, but you cannot extend forms, enterprise search, data sources, screens, and refer to the customer extensions, etc. UI switch can control the element properties for standard screens only. This feature is not available for custom UIs. Also, do remember that a UI switch can be used to make the UI more restrictive and not less restrictive. For example, if the field is disabled by SAP, you cannot enable it. However, the reverse is possible. If you want to know the UI switches assigned to the user, you can use the library function context.getCurrentUser UI switches. While you refer to key user extension, you cannot refer to a field that has a property calculated. And last, you can also only refer to the customer extensions that are defined on node which are PSM released. With this, we come to the end of this unit of extensibility deep dive. Let us quickly summarize what we have learned in this unit. We saw how the UI can be made flexible based on the conditions. These conditions can be coded in epsil logic, accessing key user extensions and manipulating their values based on the logic. We highlighted the key points about the UI switches and reference file that should be kept in mind while using them. I will now recommend you try the scenario with the hands-on exercise for this unit. That is all from this unit, and I shall see you in the next unit. Thank you and have a great day. Bye bye.